Hello everyone, hope you're all doing great. This upcoming week we will mainly be focused on the trade war negotiation between the US and China. We will have US officials who will be traveling to Beijing on January 7th and January 8th to discuss with the Chinese. Now, this main video will only be talking about the trade war with China. As you can see here, China has about 53 more days to go until March 1st. And this timeline is essentially showing you how Mr. Trump and President Xi of China last year in Argentina, starting on December 1st, China and the US agreed that they will be holding off on additional tariffs for 90 days while they attempt to negotiate a deal. So we're more than almost halfway to that 90-day truce period, but China and the US, is good to see them having this mid-level talk just to see where everyone's at on the playing field. Now, in terms of how the Chinese market is reacting so far, as you can see, the whole year, really in 2018, this is the Shanghai Composite, where it's showing you that the Chinese market is down more than almost 30% in the past 1 year, mainly because their economy is slowing down, as well as the trade war issues that has been going on with the USA. The USA, they'll be sending over Jeff Garish. As you can see here, he is the deputy U.S. trade representative. Him and his team will be going over to China, and the hope is that there will be positive and constructive discussions. Now, the expectation is that there's going to not be any major deals happening. This is more of setting up the playing field for Mr. Trump and President Xi to negotiate over. So this is just like a check-in for both parties. As you can see here, tweet from Trump, he's reaffirming everyone. This happened earlier in 2018. He's saying, we're not in a trade war with China. The war was already lost many years ago. He does have a point where the trade deficit of China, it is $50 billion a year, and the intellectual property theft is another $300 billion. As you can see here, he's very adamant on saying we cannot let this continue. And I think a lot of people out there in the news, they're not focused on the intellectual property theft that is happening. And the talk that we're having on January 7th and 8th, a positive outcome would be for both parties to discuss and negotiate over intellectual property. As you can see here in this article, they're talking about how the US, we already put tariffs on $250 billion on Chinese goods. Now, if, say for example, the timeline I showed you, if both parties are not able to reach a trade negotiation before March 1st, then essentially what will happen is that Trump, he is going to increase the tariff from 10% to 25% on $200 billion worth of goods that he already implemented. Now, the White House, they are optimistic that they can get something done, but this is still left to be seen. This is going to be important to see if both sides can actually get something done. Here, this figure here is showing you how China's tariffs on the U.S. good is much lower than the U.S. It's only about $110 billion worth of goods that have been affected. Mainly, as you can see here, to the U.S. we actually export a lot of soybean to China. This box here represents about $14 billion of soybean that we export to China. In terms of the other item, you can see here we also send over like transportation equipments here in the green box. as far as like the U.S. tariffs on China goes, the first phase was $50 billion. The second phase that Trump implemented was $200 billion. Now, that's actually a lot. If you think about it, right, this part here, the $280 billion, Trump still has a possibility to put tariffs on these Chinese exports. The cell phones and the laptops here will account for almost $80 billion combined, right? And the main thing I want to really highlight to you is that a lot of people are focused on this trade deficit that we have with China, but a lot of people are forgetting that the intellectual property is probably a very significant and thorny issue that Mr. Trump has with China. Specifically, if the U.S. has been accusing China of forcing American companies to share their technology, to share their IP, if they wanted to do business in China. As you can see here, China is saying that they have rolled out like punishments, just to make sure that companies are not stealing products from these American companies. However, people actually want to see something being done about this in the first place. As you can imagine, right? Like, oftentimes, a lot of the goods, such as that the U.S. creates, they're claiming that China, they're looking at counterfeiting famous brands such as like Lego toy here, and they're stealing trade secrets and really forcing and pressuring these U.S. companies to share technology. And if they don't, then the Chinese market will be angered by that, and there's no way for the U.S. company to get any breakthrough in the Chinese market. Now, in response, to be fair, the Chinese president, he's been saying that there's going to be different punishments that would be applied to people who do violate IP violations, and the government has rolled out something called like social credit system to reward people who do alert the government about these IP violations. So overall, this is going to be a very important brewing topic that has been lingering on the whole year of 2018. But hopefully, both sides seems like they are optimistic that something can be done in terms of a trade war negotiation. Talks about IP theft. Hopefully, they expect a deal to be done by March 1st. And if that happens, then the market should rally from here. But if not, the market is not going to be very happy about that. So everyone, thank you again for watching this video. If there's something that I left out and you think that should have been covered in this video, please feel free to drop a comment below. If you thought it was helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel if you would like more videos like this one. Hope everyone has a great week, and thank you again. Bye.